So what I was saying is this, that the law, the spirit of the laws are being used kind of off kilter a little bit. The law was created to manage, it wasn't just necessarily espionage, but corrupt use with willful misuse of government information for kind of in the intelligence realm. Right? So if you made a mistake, yeah. Right. So actors that might not be chargeable under espionage could be chargeable under something such as that. I don't think Trump really thought through it or I don't think Trump, I said this the first time. I think this time he's beginning to understand government. I didn't believe Trump understood government the first time around. So again, he lacked the mens rea for that type of thing. Now, when he obstructed, that was the issue. Now, as far as where that obstruction goes, that'll be a trial, and right, I don't think he would ever see any jail time. Right. People like Trump don't go to jail. It's just the way it is. He had to be ruled. He never. I'll tell you what. If they never did that to Trump, he never would have been president. Because he wouldn't have gotten in trouble for anything. Which means, but it still exists. What the hell just happened to my coffee? I have to filter my coffee again. That's kind of weird. Let me think here. Where's this thing? I have to put it back into this. Put another filter in there. Actually, maybe I should just use the other filter. Not the paper one, but the metal one, wherever that is. You know, the metaphysic, he was in trouble for what happened to my life also. They allowed their people to attack my life. And they have willfully done it for money. I don't know. Oh, people will pay you a lot of money to attack me. God will get you. Right. So this idea of Epstein's Island coming up all the time, and then they try like, well, that's a different country, and like the Me Tooers are so fake. Here's our opportunity to take Iran out, a child pedophile nation, and they won't do it. When I got to yoga, I knew what was going on. I could see it. So what happens is these guys that really take advantage of them routinely, it's called dating, but it's bullshit. I brought it before. They call it dating just to, pass the muster in their communities. Right? Well, it's long-term sexual relationships, but you still have to go through the motions of dating. So at some point, the guy's going to set up the woman, and it's something she's going to do that's going to cause the breakup. But all he wants to go with some new woman and have sex with her. That's what it's really about. It's not really like honest dating. But because they're part of like the Me Too crowd, they have to go through the throes of dating. So what happens is he'll set her up, she'll break up, she'll be pissed off. So what does she do? She looks for the next Me Too victim instead of going after him because he's protected by the deep state. She can't go after him. But when the deep state says, "That guy over there," they all, "Ah!" Right. All the women are frustrated because the men are taking advantage of them and they can't take them out. But who do they take out? The victim of the deep state. So it's really a form of indoctrination. That's who they used against me, believe you me. Frustrated women who got screwed over by the guys that actually have sex with them, but I had to pay for that. Right. And the guys that did it, are deep staters. Right? And the women are deep staters. I have no idea where that thing got to. It's weird. My pour over coffee thing from, I don't remember the name. It's one of those famous companies, but it came with a metal filter. See, I've been trying to not shave as much, just use that trimmer, and do that, use that, and it still has a little stubble. That even causes rashes. Right? That's from Persian Gulf. It's one of the signs. Right? Like I said, it would have been a valid payment if you paid me when I went to get it to begin with, instead of saying, "Oops, we lost everything." Right? But they give you something. It's like it's a deep state trick. Like, oh, but look at this, buddy, you got something. Meanwhile, they get paid $1 million to make sure you don't get the big payoff. Right. Yeah, I found it, but I don't think I thought it was like a strainer. It's a little bit different. Worst comes to worse, I'll make some more coffee. But let me get a filter and see if I can filter it with just a regular paper filter. The coffee grinds for some reason. Usually don't have that happen. It's been a long time before anything like that happened. Or something like that. Oh, the whole world's wired like that, fake. So the whole thing where they're coming against Trump is bullshit. Well, it's just like Iran bringing up Epstein's Island. Epstein's Island, their whole nation is Epstein's Island. Right. I'm sure there's some people that don't do it based upon some certain level of morality, but. But it did filter. That's cool. Rather succinctly. So for a woman, if you're a woman, like if I'm like in a gym and you're a woman in a gym, now they'll harass you if you don't heed them. But the quickest way to get a boyfriend and a husband is to pay attention to me and say you're interested in me. The deep state will pay somebody to date you, if need be. Yeah, it didn't make any sense there. And I'm just like, at a certain point, when I first got out of the government, of course I was looking for a woman. I was a good-looking guy, fit, had my half my retirement already on. Right. No fault of my own. Actually, they owed me millions of dollars, but because they had made Jim Spicer say like there was some sort of kind of deal, I'm like, well, maybe this will blow over. I mean, when you're in your 40s, you're not as worried about it, right? But by the time you are worried about it, you're all screwed up. And of course, they've got tons of people that they pay to be in it, and they give them money, and then they pay other people to do it. It's really something that concerns that office. I told you it was spying, and that's espionage. Again, anybody that attacks the best employee in the office is committing a certain act of espionage. and possibly sabotage. Well, that's how the deep state works. That's why Putin would pay for it. That's why China would pay for it. You're inhibiting the productivity of the government. In fact, destroyed it. Right. But of course, the talking point gets reversed. That's the worst employee, and we're the best. What they're saying is that she was set up because they didn't want her speaking to the public. They didn't want that connection between the public and law enforcement and the public information. The key is that you can't, like I said midstream, that you can't take a personality and make them bigger than the other personality. So you have to kind of float around. And like some of those where Christie was in the ad, it should have been somebody else. Right. Well, because again, the concept is you're up, you're seeing, you're down. It's an old infantry thing, right? You're up, you're seeing, you're down. That's how you do. Like the president's got all that money, he's got that position. But if you're like a secretary or a director, you want to take and you did with some of your underlings, but it just still needs to be spread out more. You got to take and you were showing some of your employees, but it's still focused on certain people. Well, you're kind of running you ran something similar to the White House, which is not a problem with that. It was a lot of information. And it needed to be because they were lying about you. But again, it's just one of those things. Like Bavino was attacked by large numbers of people, large numbers of witches and devils. That's what happened. But if he wasn't in the news so much, if it was just, okay, Bavino, like once every 4 months you see him in the news, then it couldn't have happened. Like Homan. Homan went and hid, he's okay. Elon went and hid, he's okay. The Amish know what they're talking about. You don't want them to see you in them photos. It's not exactly the way the Amish explain it, but they can put hex. And maybe the Amish knew it, they just didn't say it back then because they know about hexes. They can put hexes on your photos or through your photos. So I get picked up after they drugged me in Indiana. My mother came, she picked me up. We're driving back. We stop at the 7-Eleven in Ohio, probably just west of here. So that's part of it. I'm in with the Amish. So, this is why I saw this. I go to this like 7-Eleven to go inside to get like a coffee or something, and this Amish dude's ahead of me. He stops. He looks at all the coffee stuff. I knew about healing already. And he does something with his fingers. He takes his fingers, puts it on top of his wrist, and he starts moving it in a certain order. So I'm like, yeah, okay, he's doing something there. So I knew everything was real. Like, as much as they tried to convince me that it was supposed, even my mother, because they've made her afraid not to talk about it, probably ever since she woke up. She woke up shortly after my father was killed. Now, the people around her probably woke her up, tried waking her up because, she's on her own now. Right? She didn't even drive when my father died. Right? That was a good old neighborhood. I wish I was more awake as a kid. That would have been fun. The old neighborhood. But I could look back once I woke up that they were seeing certain people were seeing something. So there was this guy. He was a black guy across the street, older gentleman. And I used to, because first he had like a regular mutt dog, and that dog loved me, and I pet that dog all the time. I never went over his house or anything, but his dog would see me come out and come over and start. So He used to be a hunter and stuff like that. So he got and eventually got like a hunting dog. I can't remember what kind it was. But I came out of my house once. I'm standing there on the stoop, and he's looking at me, and I'm like, "What is he?" I wasn't even thinking really what he's looking at. As a kid, But later on, he was seeing something at that point. This is how I get put into stuff. I don't know what they're thinking because they don't talk to me. But I think I did pet his new dog a little bit, but not like the old dog. The old dog was like totally into me. That's the only thing we didn't have. We had cats, fish, reptiles, gerbils. Actually, yeah, gerbils. We didn't have hamsters. So again, that is what it is. But like I'm saying, it's like I told you, somebody is sexualizing men and they're putting children at risk while doing what they'll say is we're watching, but it's BS. Right? They're not really good law enforcement officers, but they get put in big positions. And some of them are like PIs or after, retirement jobs. Right. So they're just really a mess, but the government props them up. And then they kill their victim to make their victim's life a mess. Right. It's projection and displacement and all this nonsense that they're into. But again, God will get them in the afterlife. No, it's what I've been telling you for years. Facebook was obviously trying to link pedophile men or people they were trying to make pedophile, try to link them up for kids. And make is not the detective term make, it's the plain English use of the word make. I mean, they're money grubbers, man, at a minimum. And they've done that for years, so they protect that system and work for it. Right? Yeah, we'll pay in hell. All right, stay peaceful, praise God, and all that you